Nekton doesn't have ulti. We can take the fight. We can even turn it if needed. I have GP behind him.
Kha'Zix! I got him!
Go
I got him!
Kha'Zix! Go Kha'Zix! Kill the Kha'Zix! Nice! Release next! Release next!
Paris!
Nice! Get bounce! Renekton next! No ulti! Go! Yes! Woo! I can catch! I got pushed up!
His birds.
You guys push back! But! I pushed up, you go bot, I pushed up.
Welcome back, everyone. Demon and I are speaking with Wicked from Alliance. Wicked, we just saw that. That was an amazingly beautiful fight by you guys. Walk us through it, because you started everything off by teleporting to the top lane.
Well, we didn't even want to fight in the beginning, because Froggen was split pushing bot lane, so we were just trying to walk back, and then Nif was like, I catch him, and we all just go like run in, stun him, go everything for Kha'Zix, and everyone was just screaming Kha'Zix because we didn't have any other focus, so that's our only focus. We managed to kill him, we finally move on to the next targets and just try to kill all of them.
Such nice, clear-cut communications, I noticed, from your team as well. This is a bit of a contrast from the old CLG EU days.
Whoever screams the loudest decides the target.
I think, I don't know, Froggen probably wins every time.
Not every time, but mostly, yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about this game, because Kassadin got through 2 times in a row. Were you guys as surprised as we were?
Well, I guess now people realize why people banned Kassadin as well, because even if he gets behind, like if you saw that Alex game, Alex was like 0-3 or something, and then in mid-game, late game, he just destroys everyone, even though he's weak. And Froggen had free farm this game, and he could just pretty much farm up, slow out the game, and then carry it on.
So what was going on with the picks and bans phase? Because there was 5 AD carries banned out. You guys obviously went Caitlyn Lucian. That's kind of standard against Silver, but they banned out 3 AD carries.
So we were trying to get the superior bot lane by banning out Lucian, possibly picking Caitlyn or getting an OP pick. But they decided to just ban all the AD carries, and we were like, well, we'll just go with that as well. And then we knew Taps can easily play Ezreal, Vayne, Varus, so we didn't have a problem because he'd been practicing those heroes as well. And we know that all heroes mainly only plays Lucian and Caitlyn.
But they left Tabs' main AD carry open, which is actually Vayne.
Yeah, Taps loves to play Vayne. We haven't played it that much because it's bad in the tank meta, I think, because everyone could just run him down. But now it's better because a lot of people are playing Bruises, where you're not as tanky anymore, you have damage instead, and Vayne just kills those heroes.
Talking about the tank meta, a lot of love for Aurelia once again. Tell me about the matchup into Renekton, maybe Trundle before as well, and why you picked her twice today.
So, the game before I picked her against Trundle, I wasn't sure if we wanted to pick Renekton or Trundle or Aurelia. It depended a lot on our strategy, because if you wanted to gank top, we would have gone the Renekton, and if you wanted to just let me farm forever, we would pick Aurelia and I can just split push. And then this game, it was clear because I feel very comfortable on Aurelia against Renekton. As you can see, it's a losing matchup, but I still managed to equal farm and even get ahead of him.
So you're now 3-0 in Super Week. Can you go the whole way? You're the only team that can go for the perfect week.
Well, it is our week, so definitely.
The curse was broken, man.
The curse was only broken for 2 weeks.
Okay.
All right, one more question for you guys quickly. Millennium versus Fnatic coming up. D-Man, who you calling it for?
I'm actually going to go for Fnatic in this one. They looked really good against the Super Hot crew, but then again, the Super Hot crew have not been good this week. But Fnatic, I think, have this one in the bag.
Wicked, do you give a chance to Millennium?
I would say it's roughly equal, and I'm rooting for Fnatic, but I know that Millennium really needs this win, and they're going to do everything they can, so it's a very equal game.
Yep, that can go a long way. Thank you very much, and congratulations once again, Wicked. And now we're going to kick it back over to Joe and the Fee Show, where our next matchup is good to go.
Thank you very much, guys, and that does bring us to our final LCS game of the day as Millennium take on Fnatic. Now, these two teams are tied in head-to-head after Fnatic's yo-yo performances have allowed everyone to net a win against them.
And Millennium's win over Fnatic in Week 5 was actually the first time we really saw the new Millennium team fights where they could actually shine. We had Aranea jumping into the backline of Fnatic every single time, and he tanked 4 members. And then the rest of Millennium, they just killed Soaz and then moved on to the rest of the team. And we also have to highlight Kevin in that game. Great performance on Trundle, where he simply became unkillable. And Fnatic, every single time they used everything on Aranea, had nothing to do against Trundle.
And Millennium are coming into this one, of course, after beating first place Roccat yesterday. They looked very impressive.
Yeah, I was actually very impressed by Millennium's performance. First against SK Gaming, we had a very close match where both Curb and also the bot lane actually won the lanes. And then they also picked up some few kills early game, and everything was actually looking good. Kevin, he did fall behind to Freddy in the top lane, but that is what you expect against Renekton. And Millennium, they still managed to win the early game overall. But then after the laning phase, SK Gaming, they took control of the map, and then they won the game with some very good rotations all around the map. And then we had another strong performance by Millennium against Rocket, where after a very even early game, they actually managed to ace Rocket at the Dragon at 17 minutes. And Millennium, they never let go of the lead. And while Overpower, yeah, he did try to pull Rocket back in the game with the Mordekaiser that came in from behind, popped someone pretty much instantly with his ultimate. But still, Millennium, they hold on to the game, and they secured the Baron, and also they secured the game from there on. And early in this season, Millennium had some very aggressive games where they could constantly roam and they were fighting in the early game, but their playstyle has changed now. It's more passive, and it's working for them. We saw that yesterday, and also they're looking just generally a lot better in team fights, and also their objective control is good. And they're actually the 4th team in the EU LCS on Dragons, which is really impressive considering the fact they're actually the bottom team in the league. And it's not an easy task just picking up so many Dragons when, generally speaking, you haven't had the best games.
Yeah, those Dragons important overall, and I think a strong early game is something that Millennium need to bring into this one as well. Fnatic on the other side picked apart Super Hot Crew earlier today with Xpeke on the block, hiding in the jungle all over the place and just basically destroying everyone that he happened to come across along the way. Peke was able to put so much fear into the Super Hot Crew that they lost the entire control of that jungle. And we also have to talk about Soaz on Malphite. He listened to Wicked and he built a Trinity Force on that one first of all and really shut down Mima, who of course was playing Jax in that game. And in general, Fnatic played very well. They controlled the tempo of the game. They never really gave Super Hot Crew a chance.
No, and they did a very smart thing where they simply forced Copenhagen Wolves to fight. And every single time they did, Soaz was just split pushing elsewhere on the map, making sure he could take down turrets whenever there was a fight. And it was such a smart play overall, because what can you actually do against it if you are behind? And again, Xpeke on LeBlanc, 8-3-9 versus Super Hot Crew. Amazing performance from him, doing so well, hiding in the jungle, killing targets every single time he had the chance. And then Fnatic, they managed to completely control the jungle. As you said yourself, good wards in there, they controlled all the objectives, they had 3 dragons, they had a Baron, and obviously they had 11 towers to only 2 towers of Super Hot Crew, completely shutting them down.
Well, we'll see if they can do it again here against Millennium. But first, let's check out the starting lineups of the two teams, starting on the blue side with Millennium. They are Kevin in the top lane, Aranea in the jungle, Kerp in the mid lane, and the duo lane of Creatine and Jerry.
And on the red side, we have Fnatic, of course. We have Source in the top lane, Cyanide in the jungle, Xpeke is the mid laner, Reckless on AD carry, and Yellow Star is the support.
So we're moving into champion select, and I'm going to predict this one. They're going to ban Kassadin. Millennium are going to ban Kassadin. Or will Fnatic ban Kassadin? What do you think? Someone's going to ban Kassadin.
I actually think Millennium will do it. They have been doing it in the past, simply because they don't actually play it. It's all pretty common knowledge for most teams here. So they will... I expect them at least to ban away. We can't say anything. We saw Draven ban against Taps in the last game and leaving Kassadin open. So, but I also could see something like LeBlanc against Peke, taking away, don't want to deal with this. Yeah. And then Kerp, he's been playing Ziggs twice now this Super Week. Doing really well. It could be a potential pick for Rocket, or maybe even a ban for Fnatic, simply don't want to deal with this. And then we can see Kerp fall back on something, maybe in like a Fist, which I would really like to see him play. Yeah,
and the funny thing is that both of these mid laners do play a very similar pool of champions. You know, we've seen the LeBlanc for both of them. We know that Peke can play that Fizz, although that was where they started their losing streak, funnily enough. So it's going to be interesting to see if they ban heavily against the mid lane or simply let everything through and say it's going to be me versus you. We're going to just come down to counter picks.
And a champion we actually almost forgot this today is Lulu.
True.
Potential ban. Both teams can ban their way because she's so hard to deal with. And also, Cyanide actually been very impressive when it comes to Wukong. He's been loving to play together with Sivir and Reckless. Could be a potential ban. Maybe at least Sin could be a ban against him. Obviously, Lee's key jungler for him. There's a lot of options here. And for once, I actually feel like Millennium has a lot of things they want to ban away from this Fnatic team because they have been looking good. Also, Annie on Yellow Star. And all the way around.
Yeah. I think, you know, the Lulu thing as well also kind of works doubly against Fnatic because Soaz plays it in the top lane, or has played it in the top lane, I should really say about that one. Of course, he won that game against Gambit, actually got them off that horrible losing streak that they were on.
And he didn't only win the game, he dominated Darien completely. He got the 1v1 against Dr. Mundo, killed him first with Cyanide, then Darien returned to the lane, and Source just killed him alone. So obviously, Lulu for Fnatic, it's something they love. And also, we've seen Yellowstar play it together with something like Caitlyn on Reckless. It's a very hard lane to deal with, so I can definitely see Lulu be a possible ban.
So we are going to be getting into Champion Select here in just a second. Players just dropping out to get themselves in the right order, because otherwise that just confuses Joe Miller and everything basically goes to pot. So once that's all done, we'll be all good to get into the game. And for Fnatic, again, it's hard to say which Fnatic's going to come to the table, because they beat Gambit, looked very impressive, then they lost to the Wolves. They dominated the Super Hot crew earlier on. Does that mean that they're going to win this one? Does that mean that they're going to lose out again? Super Hot crew themselves have not been a model of stability either in the last few games.
I think we can say, though, both these teams have actually been doing well. Millennium yesterday, 2 games, won 1, lost 1, but they didn't like lose it like we've seen in the past, where they just pretty much lose every single team fight. They actually look very strong.
So here we go then into the bans and the picks. Lulu first ban out, so we did expect that to happen for Millennium. And it does take away 2 possible picks, as we said, with both Soaz and Peke able to play that one. Renekton taken away against Soaz as well. On the other side, Evelynn against Aranea.
Evelynn, so annoying to deal with early on. You need vision in the jungle at the camps to actually spot her out. Otherwise, you need the pink wards. Don't want to deal with this. The Ziggs being taken away from Kirk. He loved to play it yesterday. Did so well on it. So very smart ban by Fnatic. And no, Kassadin got banned.
Why would you ever ban Kassadin?
Oh, Draven is still open.
Draven's still open, that is for sure. Other side, Ziggs was taken away by Fnatic. We talked about how well Kerp has done overall with the Ziggs. Their last 2 games, in fact, playing Ziggs and ending with positive score ratios. Actually against Roccat a little bit better than against SK Gaming, where he went 5-2-5. And what are Fnatic going to ban out finally? Aatrox actually taken away from Kevin, and that's another one that he performed brilliantly with against Roccat. 2-1-7. Not the biggest, most impressive score, but the way he played the Aatrox was brilliant.
And I actually feel like they are forcing to ban it because the Renekton ban from Millennium's side. One of the champs who can deal with Aatrox is Renekton early, so Millennium taking that away, showing more or less we want something like an Aatrox, and the Fnatic just responds, bans away. Left LeBlanc open, take it away from Xpeke, put onto Kerp, who absolutely loves the player.
What will Peke be reacting with? Something like Gragas possibly, get a lot of farm in this mid lane and have a bit more control when it comes to team fights?
Gragas is an option. Orianna is normally the go-to pick because you have your shield in the laning phase. You can also bring barrier. It also works fairly well with something like a Trundle, who can go into the middle of the team, have the ball on him, and you pop the ultimate. But they don't have this like direct jump in if we see the Orianna later on. But I like the fact they're actually considering Trundle, because it's been one of the main champions for Kevin. Renekton is already gone. Aatrox is gone. We can possibly see him play Shen. He's played it in the past. We can see something like a Jax being brought up by him. But in general, very smart pickup. And also, you get the Elise onto Cyanide. Such a strong jungler.
And those are the 2 picks that will be locked in. Trundle Elise for Fnatic. On the other side, Aranea.
Always Teemo.
In his penguin costume. In the end, actually switches out Teemo, surprisingly enough, for Lee Sin, and also Lucian picked up here for Creatine.
So we get very standard junglers. It did show, though, that Fnatic actually prefer Elise over Lee Sin for Cyanide here. But generally, Millennium had the respawn ready. Lee Sin is one of the best to deal with this early game power Elise can bring. And also the Lucian, we've seen Creatine on it before. He's so good. And it's also it's both strong in lane, it scales well into the late game. Generally, Lucian, he just brings everything you want in an AD carry.
So other side, currently hovering over Nidalee possibly here for Fnatic. And let's think back to the last time that was played, was in their win against Gambit. 5-0-6. You had those magnetic spears that were connecting onto everyone.
And that was the game where Fnatic didn't give up a single kill. They had the Lulu on source, they had the Nidalee, and just poked away. They got ahead early on, and now with Caitlyn as well. The amount of poke you can bring with this combo, if Fnatic gets ahead early on, can really make things hard for Millennium. Because also, we haven't obviously seen the last 2 picks, but the first 3, you don't really have any direct hard engage, so you're going to have to rely on Kerp getting a pick somewhere, or Aranea obviously hitting his Q, kicking someone into his own team.
So, we see a Thresh paired actually over the other side there for Fnatic. And maybe more importantly, what is J-Ree going to go for? Because he's actually the support that's really, I'd say, along with Edward, if you look at their past games, bringing out something a little bit different. Zillion is already brought to the table. A win against SK, actually, the time that he brought that one out. also played the likes of Morgani and more standard stuff as well.
And he needs to pick some engage in some kind of form. He needs to have engage for the team so he can land now the ultimate, and then Aranea can follow, Curb can follow, and of course if they log in his Jax, jump in there, you have your counter strike, stun everyone around you, and it's very, very strong combo if they can land the ultimate from Jerry. So there's going to be a lot of things relying on him now to start the team fights, especially against something like a Nidalee. You don't want to delay going in and getting hit by these spears.
So Lucian, Leona versus Caitlyn and something. What would you go in there with that something? Would it be the Thresh that's still open?
Morgana is also open. Morgana would be a perfect pick for them here to simply stop the engage. And also something, yeah, already locked in, don't even have to keep going there. Morgana, the perfect pick against Leona. Black Shield stops all his CC when she's trying to engage. And it's what Fnatic need here. This poke combo, if they manage to get a good early game, if they manage to get into this mid game where they can start setting up dragons, setting up blue buffs, setting up maybe even a siege in the mid lane, and then just have Morgana ready with the Black Shield to stop any form of engage coming out of Jerry, they can more or less just poke them down and just rely on never actually team fighting.
See, the spirit in the Millennium camp is actually pretty high right now. I mean, let's face it, they're coming off the back of a win against the first place, or what were then the first place team, as they're sat in last position. Something to celebrate for Millennium, but they are searching for their first back-to-back wins of the season. They've been able to win games, of course, but they've never put more than one on the board in a row.
And now's a good time. The combo-wise again, you need Jax to get going, you need obviously Curb to get going, so he can roam around, set up some kills. Nidalee will bring barrier most likely, so it will be hard for him to kill him. But the other way around, Nidalee can kill LeBlanc.
We'll see about that one here. Once again, you make the calls when it comes to the voting just before the game. Over on LOLesports.com, you voted for Fnatic here. It's not a surprise to me, I have to say. 81%, a big number though, coming in to think that Fnatic are going to win it.
But both teams have been playing really well, so it's fairly even matchup, at least in my opinion. We need to see more consistent performance for both teams before we can actually say which one is the direct favorite.
Oh, an important one for both teams as well, because, well, a back-to-back win is what they're both searching for in this one. Obviously, Millennium taking down Roccat, the Super Hot crew, fell victim to Fnatic just a little bit earlier on today. And we've got more games coming your way tomorrow. Don't forget, 5 more, in fact, we'll be finishing off Super Week with. But either way, we are going to get into game for this one. It is, of course, Millennium taking on Fnatic for back-to-back victories here. One team, though, is going to have to go home empty-handed, at least for tonight.
And actually, both teams completely same items, nothing different here. Millennium doing the standard tactic for them where they move 5 people together. Want to maybe go in and look a little bit into Fnatic's jungle, see if they can catch someone out. They need to be careful, though, because the binding from Morgana is a very hard thing to deal with at level 1.
This is interesting again. Millennium are level 1 team. They do stuff at level 1.
And they're actually expecting Fnatic to group up as 5, go down here with the team, and then have Morgana shoot the binding over the wall into here, hit the Jax, and then they run as the entire team trying to kill him, and then Millennium are just sitting ready to punish them.
Not happening, though.
He's even betting it out.
Not happening from this time around. Kevin is showing himself down there, and they're maybe thinking, okay, top laner's down there. Why would he be doing that? Probably trying to bait us into that brush. So let's not go in there. Let's not do that. And now Millennium move across the top side of the map. No vision, of course, for either side at this point of the game. Those trinkets still got 30 seconds, or less than 30 seconds by now, until they can be used. And there is the first Dark Binding thrown out by Yellowstar, pretty blindly off towards J-Reed, not connecting. And as soon as those wards do start to go down, Yellowstar needs to be a little bit careful here.
So Millennium actually waiting around for him to put down the ward so they can kill it, but Yellowstar, he just going in, poking a few times, backing off. He probably expected more of Millennium to be around.
And he was a little bit wrong on that one. Better safe than sorry, though, I think is the way to go on that. And after all that tense level 1 action, both teams just settle off into their early game with the duos lining up in the bottom lane, and both junglers actually starting on their red buffs. Interestingly enough, though, that's going to be Aranea going a little bit lower from this one, as he's got no help.
But again, that's the thing you need to do with your bot lane. It has to be in the lane at 155. Otherwise, the other bot lane can just push you down early, get the level 2, and then you're in big trouble. We already see Jerry taking quite some poke here early on. Doing a very good job from Yellowstar, actually throwing them away from XP. And
there is a point-blank range Dark Shield, wow. Dark Binding, a Dark Shield, a Black Shield. You know where I'm trying to go with that one. Good shot from Creatine and onto Creatine. Wow, Martin, take it away.
Yeah, so we actually have the barrier on to Pekka, so we're going to see this more farm-based mid lane. We can see, though, if the Bunk or Curb wants to focus on shoving out the lane and then try and roam elsewhere. Because when you have Lee Sin, when you have Leona, you can set up ganks in the bot lane as long as the Black Shield is not ready from Yellow Star. If they can bait this one out, then land the CC, have Aranea joining in. We've actually seen them do this before with Leona, actually, and then get a lot of kills in the bot lane.
A bit of poke coming in there as well from Reckless. There is another Dark Binding landing. And an auto attack from Reckless. Let's get his passive up as well, but decides to throw that onto the farm at this point. But look how far he's got ahead, 15-4 in the early stage of this game. We talk about how Fnatic's bottom lane, even throughout all those losses, was the one stable thing for them. The only time that didn't really happen was against the Copenhagen Wolves, where, of course, Forgiven out-farmed Reckless monstrously. But this time around, Reckless doing great, and there is the danger of the LeBlanc. Peke down to half HP.
And the key thing in the Copenhagen Wolves game for the bot lane was the fact they actually didn't get the level too early on. Copenhagen Wolves did, and now Aranea got very aggressive.
Takes a turret hit for it as well. Peke already back far enough where that wasn't going to be too much of an issue for him. Actually, down in the bottom lane, Reckless did get very, very low there. Jerry obviously going in onto him from that one. So Millennium are trying to wrestle a bit of control back in this bottom lane.
He did have his health pod running now, and he's going to regain quite a lot from this. Jerry, if he can land all in, they do have a lot of damage with this combo. Lucian can come in, get the double auto attack onto Reckless, and then back off from there. He's going again.
And they are going to go in, but there is that shield once again, and Jerry a little bit too far forward from this one. Actually, Dark Binding lands. There's the Piltover Peacemaker as well. Jerry going to get a lot of damage onto him. Creatine's going for Reckless here. He's got to get inside of the brush. There is the barrier baited out. Can they put any kill down? There is the Dark Binding, and then the Zenith Blade land. Everyone's ridiculously low.
They got him.
Flash! Creatine used the barrier! Chaos!
Oh, they got him!
Classic of Ignite!
Cyanide there!
Spider's coming, Cyanide moving in from this one, he's going to repel, going for Creatine, gets stunned up, Cocoon lands onto Creatine, the Spider will finish off, mental!
So let's just break down what just happened. First of all, Jerry engages onto Reckless, Black Shield is there, so he goes on to Yellow Star instead, actually gets hit by the Binding, a lot of damage onto him, but then Creatine just goes full man mode into the face of Reckless, pops his barrier, and in the end they actually switch it around to Morgana, pick up the kill, but Cyanide, he was running from the start of the fight all the way down to bot.
And Cyanide, that's right, so has being the troll that is Trundle up there and just sidesteps the Q out of Aranea. Very much action-packed start to this one. That's what we like to see. Teams tied on kills and pretty much tied on gold as well. So as actually did just recall coming back in, and he's doing the new Trundle thing where he goes with that Doran shield, Doran's blade ×2.
And it's just lane dominance. Freddy used to do it on Renekton with Wicked Execution first, but now Aranea on top.
This could be really dangerous for Soaz. The Q is already connected. That means he can follow him through, but here comes Cyanide going for the counter gank. Aranea has to flash away. Repel comes in. Aranea dashes off to the minion. Stays alive from that, but that was very touch and go.
But look actually how tanky Soaz is with these early items, with pure lane dominance, Doran's Blades, and the Doran Shield. Gives so much control, gives HP early on, and also some good damage in the actual fights. And Cyanide, he's been doing work early on. First he went down bot, got a counter kill, and also now he went top. Predicted actually Aranea would be around, and then stopped him.
He's on his player cam how happy he is that he didn't die to the white and became basically a laughing stock of a few people for quite a while, if that would have actually happened. I was watching his health bar, basically he couldn't see the green anymore on that one. Very, very close stuff from Aranea, but he got it, and that's what he was aiming for. All good. This bottom lane though, we touched earlier on the CS difference. That's not really changed here, 44-28. Big, big lead for Fnatic.
And they're doing a great job with the fact they're actually just staying back here, farming, and every time Millennium wants to engage, there's a Black Shield, the risk of being binded. So Reckless, he's just farming away very safely. And obviously we also have Millennium, who had to back off because Cyanide came down after the big fight. But Reckless, he had recalled before that and got down to lane earlier than Creatine again.
One thing that's going to be hard in that mid lane is how do you lock down a LeBlanc? How do you hit a spear in a 1v1 scenario? Of course he does it just as I say that, but that's because he already uses distortion. So it's going to be hard to do that, and when a cocoon comes in, if you've still got it up, you're going to dodge it.
Well, unless you can actually predict the jump, fire the cocoon there, land it. But generally speaking, Xpeke doesn't want to go for any kills here. He wants to farm. He wants to get a few early items. He wants to survive the laning phase. That's why he brought the barrier. And then when you get to the mid game, he can really start landing the spears. Just like we always see with Nidalee, if they survive the laning phase, if they get through the mid game, they really start hurting on the spears. And in the end, as long as you get hit by one, you can't really team fight.
Now, Coke power pretty off the scale when it gets towards the later stages of the matchup. We're almost 8 minutes into this one, and despite that craziness down in the bottom lane earlier on to leave us at 1 kill apiece, he's quietened down somewhat. We did see a good binding landing onto Creedson behind the tower, followed up by a nice Piltover Peacemaker, but he has got that all back. Vamp Scepter now for both of these AD carries gives them a little bit more stayability in that bottom lane.
And it seems for now both of them are happy just farming away. Both combos work really well in the late game when it comes to the team fights. Morgana is so good at counter engaging, and also you have Leona to start the fights. So both of them seem happy just farming away.
Spear hit the wrong target there.
Did you just say fail?
I did say fail, yes. I did. I'm allowed to say that every now and again. I don't say it often when it comes to Peke, that's for sure. But he gets it in the end, jumps over. Froggen did also miss a jump over the wall with Nidalee earlier on, so you know that's all been now evened out across the board. All good for us. Reckless and Yellowstar continue though to pile on this pressure down the bottom lane. Cyanide started to come around. It's like, well, we've got all the pressure on the bottom side of the map. We've got Nidalee here to keep the Blanc away. We're going to start Dragon.
This is a bit risky though because Ernier was actually bot, but due to the fact that he got the ward down so late, will he try and get it?
Oh no, they won't. Fnatic P that one up on Cyanide, going to get destroyed at the backside. Aranea will fall. Aranea did get the kill. Reckless and Creedson now facing off. Kerps off to the side. His cooldowns are going to come off. Oh, Solar Flare was just flashed away from there by Reckless. In the end, 1 for 1. And the Dragon, oh, that's a big hit with the spear. He's going to keep chasing. He's got vision on him now. Is he going to be able to land the spear? Nice work there from Kerp to block it.
So it's actually a very risky Dragon from Fnatic because Aranea was around the spot lane area, so there were 4 members from Millennium, but simply due to Cyanide starting it before there was any vision from Millennium, he got it down to 50%. Rest of Fnatic came in, killed it, and yes, they did lose 1 member, but it was still worth it.
Why is Yellowstar there right now? I was just about to say, what is he? Why?
I actually think he ran all the way from the mid lane, then he took the wrong way around the Dragon, trying to go down to bot lane, just got spotted out, and now actually gave up a very easy kill to Millennium.
Free kill. Absolute freebie for Millennium. Puts them ahead in the kills again, and they're only 100 gold behind. Let's have a look at some of the CS levels here though. Top lane, pretty much bang on even. Mid lane, slight deficit for Kurt, but you'd expect that here with Peke able to shove things out, and he's got that double buff on now, by the way.
Yeah, Kurt was actually ahead before this whole Dragon thing started, but then Peke, he managed to get the wave shot pushed out, and then he actually moved all the way down to the Dragon and joined it, and Kurt, he had to move the long way around the race, so he lost a lot of CS, and then he stayed around for the kill onto Morgana. That's why he didn't return to the lane, and Peke actually got a slight, kinder a CS lead.
Bottom lane remains a problem though for Millennium. 84 CS, 85 to 68 of Creaton's there. Both of them though at the same level in terms of itemization at this point of things, and we're actually going to see the Solar Flare coming in. Black Shield will keep him healthy though. Reckless actually having no mana by the time that all went down, and Millennium trying to wrestle back some control of this bottom lane.
But we saw the power of the Black Shield, and that's going to be the same throughout the entire game. Every single time Jerry wants to engage on a target, the Black Shield is going to be there, blocking the CC from him. He might be going into the fight, but if he doesn't stun anything, he won't really do anything as Leona.
Kevin and Soaz again, just butting heads on that front. We can see that Kevin actually got himself already that Cutlass, going to do a good bit of damage here to Soaz, but he's going to be drawn out. Surprise, the spider pops up, Cyanide picks up the kill.
And once again, Aranea was actually in the area, but because it's Fnatic who starts the ganks, they started the Dragon, they get the kill from here, and they get the advantage simply by Cyanide being 1 step ahead of Aranea once again.
What are they going to do here? Do they want to have a go at that turret? They were just waiting for the minions to actually finally go through, and they are going to throw things in. Aranea forced to flash away from that one. He's landed the Q on Soaz. Soaz, for me, is tanky enough to not even care about that one, and this may just well be the turret going down. It will be. Look how fast that goes down. That will be the first turret of the game going over to Fnatic.
Very nice play. Once again, Cyanide is part of everything in this early game for Fnatic. He's been really impressive lately. And one thing we need to keep an eye on is obviously the Jax Trundle matchup later on, because Jax, with his ultimate, he gets extra armor and MR, but that's stuff for Source to actually steal away. But then again, damage-wise, you want to have the Jax late game when he gets to Trinity Force, when you get the Blade of the Rune King, he's going to be able to do so much damage, and instead, Soaz is going to be a lot more tanky, a lot more harder to kill, but not have the same damage output.
Unless you kill that Jack before he can get on that front. We'll see how that all pans out. For now, Fnatic are in the lead, albeit slimly in terms of goal, but after 12 minutes, probably a total that they'd be happy with seeing on their side. They've leaded in CS in the top lane, in the middle, and with the AD carries as well by a decent margin. So all going to plan so far.
Everything working for them. They have the poke combo. We talked about in Champs League how if they get to this mid-game point where they can really start poking away with the Nidalee, obviously also with the Caitlyn, it's going to be very hard for Millennium to do anything unless they can actually catch Fnatic out. And again, that's where the Morgana pick is going to be annoying for them to deal with.
Get the shield on the right person.
Of course, if you do.
I'll see about that one. So far, Yellowstar has been caught out of position, but that was obviously just a bit of a foresight where he just said, okay, I'm kind of dead right now. They're closing in from all three sides. No real escape for me. Make sure that doesn't happen again. Here's another blue buff going to go over on towards Peke for that mid lane against Kurt.
We actually have to touch on the bot lane. Kraton is pulling back in CS at the moment. We see Reckless and Yellowstar staying far back because they are a bit afraid of the all-in engage and also possibly the roam for someone like Kerb. Talking about roam, Peke is actually going down towards the spot lane.
And Millennium spotted it early enough. They've got a ward in the Death Brush on the bottom side of the river, so they saw Peke starting to work his way in there and decided, you know what, we're just going to be backing off. Meanwhile, Soaz here in this top lane going to be coming under a lot of pressure. Loses a lot of health, goes down in the end, and now they're going on towards Reckless in the bottom lane. Yellowstar going to ulti. The Culling comes out. Creighton gets stunned up, uses the barrier and the flash to get away. But Yellowstar flashes in, lands the binding. They get the kill. Reckless has to use his barrier, flashes to the backside. He's going to go down. Is he? No, he's not. He stays alive, barely there, and picks up a double kill.
Absolutely beautifully played by the Fnatic bot lane. Yellowstar, he flashed next to Kraton, away from Jerez. He could land the binding. Reckless, he followed up, and then he managed to stay alive, even though Jerez went back onto him. He had the barrier, managed to kill him as well, and that was just absolutely fantastic by the Fnatic bot lane.
Sick stuff as Kevin here is going to be pressured now. Enemy side of the jungle. Good spear actually from Peke landing, but Peke needs to be careful not to go too far in. Kerb is there, but he is going to have to go through traps if he wants to try and get onto Peke. And look at the dragon timer, 3 seconds. Fnatic are there with 3. Surely nothing Millennium can do.
No, it's absolutely perfect timing for them with the kills they got in bot lane. You see Millennium is trying to come in here, but they had to put down a ward. Almost down. Cannon here trying to steal it.
He's going to go in, but he doesn't get it. And now he's going to get locked up as well. Goes back off to the back though with Tajiri, and that's the beauty of that mobility. But how far is he going to get? Spear lands. Not enough damage though.
Second time we actually have Sanad managing to get the dragon, even though Aranea jumped in to get it. So he's really using this Elise with the execute on her Q and the smite to get these dragons. Very nice job by him. And Fnatic in general looking very good this early game.
Cyanide is a pretty good smiter. We've seen that
very
time and time again, stealing dragons and barons for that matter for Fnatic. They take their third and final outer turret, so that outer ring all gone. You can only imagine that Fnatic are going to start the vision war now. Get that vision down so that they can hit their poke.
Just as you say that, we have 2 wards being picked up. We have the Sidestone and a pink ward onto Yellowstar. A lot of vision they can get down. 2 sweeping lenses only, so they're not going to deny as much because they have obviously the 3 trinket wards. A few extra wards here. If they get in some good vision into the jungle of Millennium, they can more or less prevent any gank and also any roam from Kerb without at least spotting him out and having a chance to back off.
They headed toward the top lane, I'm afraid though. They're not going to get anything there because the wards that Fnatic have got down have already spotted people coming up, and we actually see that Cyanide is pushing through with Soaz. There was Kerb just dodging around the side of a spear. They kind of had vision of each other. And we actually saw Kevin recall in there as well from that top lane, meaning that Soaz can push it out further. Oh, he's going to go in onto him as well. All the damage coming in. DFG already used. There's the lockup. Solar Flare used as well. Kerb picks up a much needed kill for himself.
And that's where we see the very scary damage from LeBlanc with an early DFG, popping it, full combo. Obviously, Jerez was there to provide some CC after the chains had popped. It's a very nice play by Kerb. This is what Millennium need. They need him to be so strong that he can just dual expect every time and then go to other lanes, help them out, pick up some kills. Because someone like Reckless, he's very squishy at the moment. If Kerb gets to him with the DFG, he will die as well.
There's that vision war starting. Ooh. Talisman pop from Yellowstar, and I think actually using that item there just got him out of range of that Q of Aranemi. Probably got enough to do a lot of damage, if not have a good go at actually taking him out from things. We've come back to that more slower pace now as the lanes get pushed in and out by both teams. Actually, Creaton down the bottom, freezing up that lane. You don't want to be pushing it back and basically gifting free farm to Reckless.
But when you freeze one lane, it opens up for Fnatic to rotate to a different one. This time around, though, Reckless, he has a lot of gold. He wants to go back and shop. That's why he's not pushing down the lane more than he already did. But Peke, he's been doing such a good job farming after the first dragon fight. When he actually got the lead, he's been doing really well, keeping. Yes, he died to Curb, but he's at least been keeping even in CS, which is a very important thing for him as Nidalee.
I'll look down some of the items picked up here recently as well. Blade of the Ruin King for Jax levels him up with Trundle on that front. In the jungle, we actually saw the Haunting Guys for Cyanide, so we're going to have a lot of Magic Pen at this point with those Sorcerer Shoes as well.
We often see this from Elise when she gets a good start. Get the early Magic Pen items, you have a lot of single target burst if you catch someone out. So it's a very smart item build, and from here on he can just go tank because he has the extra gold due to the 2 kills and also the 2 dragons he secured by himself for Fnatic.
Back to the mid-lane Curb. Taking a couple of spears, none that have been too life-threatening, and we see with that the FG was able to blow Peke up with a little bit of help from Jerry just to make sure that Peke didn't leap out of things. And now actually they're going to go in towards Reckless, who's trying his best to get behind his turret, dodges most of it, but actually Jerry managing to land a lot. Reckless here is surely going to go down. Creaton finishes off. It's a nice pick, but now the rest of Fnatic coming down. They pop the talisman. Spear lands onto Jerry. They're going to go for Creaton and for Jerry, and they're going to get them both.
Very nice roam for Fnatic. As soon as they saw Reckless was about to go down, they moved from this mid lane, popped the talisman that Yellow Stars picked up very early on, and just got down there in time. 2 kills. Meanwhile, though, Millennium, 2 people pushing the mid lane. Will Peke try and stop this one, or at least will he be able to?
They've spotted him coming out, and Peke knows that he probably has to be a little bit careful, or does he? The rest of his team is coming up here through the Millennium jungle. No outer turrets there for Millennium, meaning that they have to retreat a little bit sooner than they normally would have.
And we just have to touch on the Reckless death before. He didn't have his flash. It's ready now, but just when it actually happened, it wasn't ready. That's why he used the E first, and Jerry just delayed his ultimate, popped it later on, and then he went in for the kill.
Driving forward actually, but there we see that shield soaking up all the damage, and actually it's Curb who will have to back away, tail between legs on that one. Aranea goes deep, they get away from him. Aranea's not escaping this, ace in the hole, blocked by Jerry, but they get the kill anyway, and now Jerry gonna be chased down. Cocoon, spear, double kill for Cyanide. Kevin's there, but Kevin's gonna die as well. Horrible stuff from Millennium. Now Curb comes back in, he does manage to blow up Peke, that's his name, and they get the inner turret here.
But wow, Fnatic once again with the counter engage. Aranea actually tried to get onto them and kick Xpeke into the team. He just flashed it, nothing Aranea could do. He got caught out then, bursted down instantly, and then the rest of Millennium actually tried to help, died as well, and meanwhile, Saucy just stayed in the top lane, pushing down the wave.
This is going pretty badly, pretty quickly for Millennium. Look at the gold now, almost 10,000 the difference, 5-0 in turrets. And against this combo, who, you know, it's great for poking, but it's great for defending turrets as well. It's hard to really be pushing into them.
Defending turrets, counter-engaging against this very all-in combo from Millennium. Black Shield, you have the binding, as we saw before, you have the cocoon when someone jumps in. And also, you have a 5-1-2 Elise at the moment who's going towards the Randuins. Cyanide, he's really doing work. Now he's been caught out.
Go all on to him. Where's the repel from Cyanide? He gets kicked back. Gonna go up, gonna go back the other way. And he's actually going to escape it. Peke now coming in. Cyanide lives, losing only half of his health. Dragon is up. Binding won't land as the Tormented Soil goes in as well. Are they going to kick off the Dragon? Trundle's not there, but he's got teleport. Caitlyn's walking down. They need to wait until Reckless is here. They're doing it with the poke damage. Half HP on the Dragon. Cyanide going to go in for it. Can he get the Dragon himself? Let's see. Creaton has taken out Peke. Cyanide did get the Dragon. The Smite Master strikes again. Jerry is low. He's going to have to flash off the back. And now Yellowstar going to stun up Kevin. Curb doing a good job here, but Creaton's going to lose his life. That's another one for Reckless. In the end, 2 for 2, but the steal on the Dragon from Fnatic.
Simply due to the fact that Cyanide once again stole the Dragon. It's worth it for Fnatic. 2 for 2. Peke, he did get too far in. He got caught out actually. A lot of people just collapsed onto him, killed him instantly, but then the rest of Fnatic joined in. We had the teleport from Source coming down. Notice here in the replay. Notice position from Peke. He's getting a little bit too close. He wanna land some poke, but Kevin goes on to him. Joined in by the rest of Millennium, instant taking him down. Meanwhile though, Cyanide getting the Dragon, and then you actually see Curb zoned away by Source. Really well done by him. And then the rest of Fnatic can just try and get up a few kills before Elise sadly dies. And actually gives over the shutdown.
Let's see, Curb just hanging on the edge there, trying to pretty much finish off anyone that went low in that whole mess in the Dragon Pit and trying to escape back off. He's now got a Void Staff added into his BFG. 3-0-2 Fnatic needs to be a bit careful about him.
That's the thing, Curb has really been doing a good job while he is winning the lane on CS, and he just destroyed Pickle.
It's kind of what I was just...
You're a wise man, Joe. You're very smart.
Wise man. Don't go into Curb right now. 4-0-2, 200 CS to his name, and looking very, very strong. Banshee's Veil's needed, I think, for Fnatic.
And it's very hard now for Fnatic to actually decide, do we want to Black Shield the one Curb is trying to burst, or do we want to Black Shield the one being engaged on with all the CC from Jerry? Yellowstar, he's going to have to decide very fast, because when Curb actually jumped in, we just saw how fast he can do it. And now,
yeah, need to do it on himself this time around. That one was a bit easier of a decision, I think, for Yellowstar. Manages to live through it as well. Quite a lot thrown at him there from Millennium. No ultimates, though, in the end of the day. What's coming up next here? We've got a lot of wards down. Look at River covered in red and blue.
And look at the difference on support items, simply due to objective gold. 6 towers for Fnatic, 3 dragons as well. So we have Mikhails, and we also have the Talisman onto Yellowstar, compared to nothing over on Jerry's side. And it really shows the difference in gold for these two teams.
And 10 assists that Fnatic, the Yellowstar in particular,
it helps as well.
Has from that one, definitely helps things out. If you look at the AD carry items, Bloodthirster for both, but there's a massive difference between them from there. Phantom Dancer, Last Whisper already done for Reckless. On the other side for Creatine, he's not really got a lot. Okay, he's just finished the Trinity Force off now, but still a full item behind.
Yeah, while Fnatic is ahead in items, just by the fact we have Curb being so strong at the moment, it actually doesn't feel like Fnatic can just walk down mid lane and just expect to win the next team fight. Because if Curb can catch out a target, he will be able to burst them down, unless of course it's Source. Because also, well, we have some magic resist now onto Elise, so he will be able to survive it, the burst as well. But the rest, they will just die instantly.
Also a danger if a Cocoon or the binding lands onto Curb, he can pretty much kiss his time goodbye, because Fnatic will be all over that, dive straight onto it.
Of course, I mean, Curb, he needs to play perfect team fights, but if he's playing these perfectly, and we've seen how good he is on LeBlanc, he will actually be able to give Millennium a chance of a comeback.
Now they're just behind by 2 kills, but that might change here and just be 1, because Soaz, I'm afraid, underneath the turret is going down, uses Subjugate. Nice effect, nice and effective, but honestly didn't really win him that much in the end of the day. 12-11.
Yeah, ignore what I said earlier about Curb not bursting down the tanks. That was very fast, combined with Kevin, but meanwhile, Fnatic are just pushing down the mid lane, and Reckless, he's pushing down the bot lane.
Yeah, they've got to react to this one here, Millennium. Inner turret in the bottom lane's down, inner turret in mid, and top lane for that matter, are all down. So only the base of Millennium now really stands. And this is where that siege combo really starts to come into itself.
As long as they can shut down someone from Millennium, Kevin for instance, when he's split pushing here, they need to make sure they can shove him back first, and then they go down with all the people, start poking away. The good at the teleport now going very aggressive on Kevin.
Yeah, he knows he's dead here, but he was trying to finish off the tower, and he didn't. It was, what, 17 health remaining on the tower. Unlucky, the satisfying sound of a Jax hammering away on a turret doesn't work out, as Yellowstar going to take a lot of burst. Can they finish off? He gets kicked away from the Cullen, which probably would have finished him off in the end. Either way, they get the turret, the second one of the game only for Millennium.
Yeah, they got the turret, they got a small advantage here. Kevin did die, didn't get the turret up top, of course. But for Fnatic's side, the fact they actually have teleport on Source, if he can hold himself 1 versus 1 against this Jax, the rest of Fnatic can then go down and start doing what a siege combo is doing. Standing at the turret, landing in spears, the Pillar or Peacemaker for Caitlyn, just trying to poke down Millennium all the time. But we'll see if they actually decide to do it, or they're more focused on something like a Baron, warding it up, trying to bait Millennium to come in there and then win in a team fight.
We saw earlier on Fnatic way ahead against the Super Hot crew. They played it very safely though in the end. We saw a very calculated finish for them. They don't need to risk anything. They're in a similar scenario here again. Play it safe, no risk, don't even risk having a L next to your name where it should be a W.
And that's actually been the style of European the Super Week. The very risk-free play we're seeing. We don't really see these rush Barons where 5 members are alive on the other team and you just more or less hope your jungler can smite it. Okay, if you have Cyanide, sure, you can kind of do the tactic, but for the rest of the teams at least, we don't see that tactic anymore, and it's very smart. This time they do start it because also they've spotted 5 members of Millennium far away. And yes, he fails to jump.
Hey, twice actually, but I'll let him off once again. Baron is down to less than half HP at this point. Reckless using that Caitlyn range from the back to take it down. Millennium didn't even know it was happening.
And that was very, very smart move by Fnatic because, again, they spotted the 5 members of Millennium down in their own jungle around the Wraith camp. Instantly, they just went on the Baron because they knew there was no vision due to them having the pink ward. Smart move and really taking advantage of the fact they had more vision than actually Millennium did.
And 27 minutes in, the Dragon's certainly worth a pretty penny as well. And this is going to put them, well, into an incontrollable, almost 10,000 gold lead. Although the kills are level and Millennium are setting up a trap. Who's going to be silly enough from Fnatic to walk
Putting
over
the spider.
there? Is it going to be Cyanide? He's going to take the race right next to them. Are they going to
Wow,
go for
he
it?
took it and just standing there, man. Ouch.
Yeah. I think they were like, he's just going to repel anyway, so if we go on to him, we're probably going to lose track of him. And in the end, Fnatic are already pushing down this bottom lane, so Millennium have to rotate all the way around the back, get themselves in a position to try and defend, but more likely catch a load of spears.
It was a good move though, trying to set up a trap where they thought there was no vision and just waiting for someone for Fnatic to go in there, but nobody face checked, and instead doing what a siege combo can do here, firing away the spears. If we see 1 or 2 landing, they more or less force Millennium to go back to the base and heal.
And they have a heal of their own. Not only that Baron buff regenning them up there, they have that big Nidalee heal as well from Xpeke, who's got the blue buff on as well at this point, which makes his life just that little bit more fun. And there is Aranea down to half HP. Will they dive for it? They're going to go for the turret. Kevin jumps in there. Aranea taking another couple of hits.
Black Shield is on cooldown, so the time for Millennium to engage is actually within the next 15 seconds. They have to go back first with Aranea. Once he heals, if he got the home guard, he can return to the fight, and this is the time for them to engage.
Or possibly
Never
not
mind.
anymore. Critton down to less than half. There's another spear straight onto Aranea. Black Shield comes up. Cyanide to the front. They've caught J-Ri out. Are they going to be able to kill him? Ace in the hole goes through. Good kick back. There is the Solar Flare as well. But they're going to take down Aranea. That opens things up completely now for Fnatic. This inhibitor will fall. They've got a wave of minions. Will they try and win it?
And they're just in full control from Fnatic. We saw the Black Shield onto Reckless. J-Ri wanted to engage, but he couldn't. And instead, spears landing and engage from Fnatic.
Those turrets do not last long. J-Ri's going to go right into the middle, but he's going to lose his life for it. Reckless picks up that one. They're trying to finish off Sohan. He falls very low. Gets away thanks to the Mikhails, and a big heal from Nidalee will surely win the game here from Fnatic. They go straight onto the Nexus and pick up a very, very impressive win over Millennium.
And that was such a dominant performance. They did so well in the early game. We had the double kill down in the bot lane for Reckless. We had Cyanide making plays early on. And then with the poke combo, they just used the full advantage, took the Baron, took the Dragons. Again, credit to Cyanide for getting all these Dragons. And then when it really matters with the Nashor buff, they just went bot lane and pushed in Millennium.
I have to say that is the 7-0 Fnatic that we've been seeing here this week. The win over Super Hot Crew, the win over Millennium. Just perfectly played. The Copenhagen Wolves game was close from them as well. It's not like they were destroyed in that one, but they're looking like a new team. That 0-for-8 run, which ended with a win against Gambit, has certainly given new life to Fnatic.
Yeah, you couldn't do it more smooth than they did here. Again, got all the objectives. They had 6 towers when Millennium had 0, and also the lanes did well. So everything for Fnatic were working, and as soon as they picked up the Baron buff, they just said, you know what, we can close out this game with our combo. Let's go do it. And the Morgana pick with the Black Shield, we highlighted it a few times. Really, really useful for them. Very, very strong to stop the engages from Millennium. But also we gotta give credit to Kirk. He did his job. He tried to get the kills going for him and his team, and he really tried to keep them in this game.
And what worked in their advantage as well here, Fnatic, the fact that they got so far ahead in those global objectives gave them that crucible, which basically means that what J-Ri can throw at them is going to get cancelled out on the important players.
The only one who could actually do something was Kirk going in, trying to get the Black Shield on the target, and then J-Ri could try and engage. Mikhails would be popped, and then he would more or less have to flash in and stun them. And that's so many things you have to invest into just stunning one guy. It's never going to be worth it, and it's never really going to work for you.
And one thing we always have to talk about here is Reckless's performance. He's been the real solid rock, even through the times where they were struggling and not winning at all for 8 games in a row, Fnatic. He was the one that was still performing, and in this game, they controlled that bottom lane from a very, very early start point.
Did a great job, especially the fight where it's actually Millennium going aggressive onto them. Then they turned around, Yellowstar, good bindings, flashes away from J-Ri, binds Kraton, Reckless comes in, picks up the double kill, that fight was really the turning point in the lane, and also the fact they had so much aggression early on, so they got the CS lead. So Reckless, he was just doing a good job, and of course Yellow Star was doing a very good job.
And for Millennium, we have to touch on them because they're obviously bottom of the table here. They picked up such a good win against Roccat in their game yesterday, the last game that they played. They lost to SK Gaming. That wasn't, even for them, wasn't that bad of a game, if I remember rightly. So some things are obviously going right here for Millennium. They've still got the Alliance and the Super Hot Crew to be playing a little bit later on. So the chance is still there for them.
Definitely, and I even think this game, it wasn't bad by Millennium. It was just very well played by Fnatic. Sana was always a step ahead of Aranea with the ganks, obviously was starting the Dragon. And then in general, Fnatic just did so well on the map, rotating around, getting all the objectives, so there wasn't really anything for Millennium to do once they fell behind early. So I wouldn't say it was them playing bad, I was just saying Fnatic was just playing fantastic.
Yeah, and we saw one real big example of that when Aranea tried to make something happen and just got flashed away from, actually, by Peke.
Yeah, the mid-game fight was where we saw the combo in work for Fnatic with counter-engaging, disengaging, and then the good flash from Peke to avoid the kick from Aranea. And he just turned it around from there, landed the CC, killed him, killed the next target. Kevin jumped in, he died as well. In the end, Peke did go down to curb, but they still got the turret and 3 kills, so definitely worth it.
Well, 2-game winning streak for Fnatic coming in. That certainly will please them and their fans. And we're actually going to join Shox and Demon, who have Fnatic Cyanide standing by for a chat.
Thank you very much. Indeed, we do 2-game winning streak. Yay! That's an improvement. No, it's seriously, I got to compliment you on your game. Just amazing. Tell me maybe in the beginning what the plan was going into picks and bans. Did you really want that, Elise?
We didn't have any special plan. We just picked, and then we saw that we had Nidalee, Elise and stuff, so we were like, Siege Comp would be good right now, and we just went for it.
And talking to the Elise, you went for it as first pick. We've seen a lot of junglers actually starting to not take Elise as their first choice, going towards the Lee Sin, the Pantheons, etc. What is it that made you stick to Elise?
I think the game is a lot about objectives right now, and Elise is really good at securing them, so I don't know why you wouldn't really pick Elise. I think she's a really strong pick.
And obviously with Elise, it helped you out down that bottom lane, them first few ganks. Did you see Glory? Do you think, there's a double kill here, I can get this?
Yeah, I just went for the Lucian because it was a safe kill, but I'm not sure if Leona flashed there before. I think I might have killed them both if I knew. But yeah, I just wanted to get the safe kill, since if they both got away, it could have been kind of awkward for me.
Yeah, you're doing very well. You were one step ahead of Aranea, although he tried to put a lot of pressure on every lane. Is there one lane you wanted to focus specifically you knew he would target, or?
I think mid lane it was pretty hard to gank this game, as they had LeBlanc and we had Nidalee, which is basically a range creep before level 6. So I didn't really want to focus any lane, but I think Jax is kind of easy to kill with Trundle and Elise, and bottom, well, they had Leona, and Leona has to go deep to do anything, so she can be killed rather easily.
I want to talk about the dragon control, because you guys have suddenly decided, you know what, to win these games, we've got to start taking dragons, and you yourself, you got back in, you're back to smite stealing.
Yeah, Elise is really good at objective control, like I said, because of the Q. There is, if I failed a smite, I think it's more my fail than the enemy failing. Ara couldn't really steal from me because he couldn't hit the Q on the Drake, so I just comboed the smite with my Q, and I got it every time.
Yeah, so obviously going for the Elise this time. The Lee Sin has been very popular, and then an Evelynn pick for you in the last game, which is something we don't see you do often. Why is it that you decide to try her here?
Well, I don't like Eve that much, but her passive is really OP. Everyone just has to be super scared all the time because wards don't really help against her, so I think she's a rather strong pick, only because of the passive.
And finally, of course, you got your 2-1 now in Super Week. Tomorrow, do you think you can make it 3-1, turn around this big bad run of results?
Yeah, we went 2-0 now instead of 0-8, so it feels pretty good, and I hope we can extend our winning streak.
Well, good luck to you guys. Impressive performance of you once again. Congratulations. And with a huge day of 6 games behind us now, let's check back in with Joe and the Fisho to take a look at the table.
Thank you very much, Shox. Here are those current standings in the European LCS. We've had a bit of a change as Gambit now sit proudly at the top. 12 wins and 7 losses for them. They're followed by Roccat at 11 for 8. SK Gaming then bring up third at 10 for 8. And Fnatic closing in at 10 for 9 in fourth.
Then we have a tie between Copenhagen Wolves and Alliance, both on 9 to 10. And we actually have Alliance going 3-0 this Super Week so far, so doing a very good job. We have Super Hot Crew in the next position with 8 wins and 10 losses. And in the bottom, we have Millennium with only 6 wins and then 13 losses.
But that's probably all going to look completely different after tomorrow, as we've got another 5 games in this Super Week still to be played. We'll kick things off on Thursday with Alliance versus Gambit. What a game that should be. And then, well, talking of good games, SK versus Rocket.
And then we have Millennium taking on Super Hot Crew, a game both teams really need to win at the moment. And that's followed by another El Clasico battle between Fnatic and SK Gaming. And we'll end the day with Super Hot Crew against Copenhagen Wolves.
That all goes down this Thursday at 5 PM Central European Time, which is 8 AM Pacific, where you can watch even more League of Legends action right now as the European Challenger Series quarterfinals begin with Cloud9 Eclipse taking on Departed. Freak and Zyrene are ready to take you into those matches, so over to you guys.